Good morning, my dear students. I, Sir Sylvester de Souza, welcome you to the geography lecture of the 8th standard. Students, in the previous lecture of geography, we were discussing about the lesson that is interior of the earth. In this lesson, my dear students, we had started with the introduction where we heard the story of the earth. I had given you the example, if you remember, about the milk which is first in the liquid state, then when it is brought to the boiling point and then cooled down, we can see that there is a thick layer of milk cream which is formed on top. We can compare that with the crust, the outermost layer of the earth. Then we have mantle, the outer core and the inner core. Next, my dear students, we had seen about the geographical explanation where we had divided the entire layers of the earth, that is the crust, the mantle and the core. The crust was divided into continental and oceanic crust, mantle is divided into upper mantle and lower mantle, and the core is divided into outer core and the inner core. We had also seen this diagram showing the structure of the interior of the earth, which is given to you each and every layer, the inner core, the outer core, the mantle, then the continental and the oceanic crust. Okay, so we had seen this image also. Here we have seen in the beginning the crust, that is the continental crust, the land near the continent areas, and the oceanic crust which is underneath the ocean, beneath the ocean, that is called as the oceanic crust. Okay, then just a rough background again. Continental crust, it is the layers which form the continent. Okay, they are less denser than the oceanic crust. They are mostly made up of granite. Okay, so we had seen all these things in the previous lecture. Then my dear students, if you look at oceanic crust is a thin layer of crust that overlies the ocean basin. So this comes beneath the oceans. Okay, this crust, oceanic crust, comes beneath the oceans. Okay, they are mostly made up of basalt rock, if you see. Okay, and they are thinner than the continental crust. Okay, compared to the continental crust, they are thinner. Then we had seen the various elements that are found in the various layers of the earth. We can see that their density is low when you see it above, and their density becomes higher as you go beneath the earth's surface. And we had discussed about the crust. We have finished both, that is the continental as well as the oceanic crust. Today, my dear students, we are going to discuss about the mantle. Below the crust, so below the crust, my dear students, lies the mantle. The mantle can be divided into two layers, that is the upper mantle and lower mantle. So we have seen in the previous lecture also that we have divided the mantle into two layers, the upper mantle and the lower mantle. I had given you in the introduction also right now. Then the upper layer of the mantle is in the liquid state. Okay, so we can see that the upper mantle is in the liquid state. Okay, here we find the magma chambers. Now you must be thinking, what is this magma chambers? Magma chamber is nothing but we can see that beneath the earth's surface we can see there is a lot of magma, and this magma is in hot molten form. Okay, this is in hot and this is in molten form. Okay, like we can call it as semi-solid form. Okay, so it's in molten form. Okay, my dear students, then it is through these chambers that the magma comes out of the earth's surface during volcanic eruption. So the magma, what we can see, it comes out of the earth during volcanic eruptions from these chambers. You can see these chambers, this line what you can see. So these are the various chambers from where the magma comes out. So the place where the magma chambers are there, okay, that is in the upper layer of the mantle. So we can find in the upper layer of the mantle that there are magma chambers. So these are the magma chambers, my dear students. Okay, and then what comes out of that, okay, what comes out during the volcano, that is known as the lava. Okay, this is we can see during a volcanic eruption. This layer is also known as the asthenosphere. Epicenter of deep-seated earthquakes are usually found here. Mantle begins at the depth of around 42 kilometers of the earth's surface. So my dear students, we can see there is a layer called as asthenosphere. Now what is this asthenosphere? It's nothing but the upper part of the mantle which is located below the crust. So we can see the crust over here, my dear students. This is the crust, okay, and just below it, right below it, comes the asthenosphere. Okay, we can see that right below the crust comes the asthenosphere, as you can see it in your diagram on the screens. Then the asthenosphere is highly viscous, mechanically weak and ductile region in the upper layer. So this is a layer which comes in the upper mantle of the earth. Okay, this is an extra information for you which is not there in the textbook. Okay, just for extra information I have given you. Okay, then my dear students, we can see that the internal energy released during the endogenic movements occurring in this layer is responsible for mountain building, rift valleys, volcanic eruptions and earthquakes. So my dear students, we can see that the internal energy what is there is released. We have seen in the previous lessons also, okay, that there is a internal in the earth's surface, there is a lot of energy which is present. Okay, and this energy, when it is released, we can see that there are various things that are formed, like mountain building, mountains are formed. Sometimes the earth cracks and there are rift valleys which are created. You can see there's a big crack in the earth, there is a rift valley which is created. Then there are certain times there are volcanic eruptions, as you can see in this. Okay, this is a volcano. Certain time there are earthquakes where the earth starts shaking itself. Okay, where the crust starts moving. Okay, due to certain pressures, due to internal movements in the earth. Okay, then the upper mantle, just a revision, just beneath the earth's crust and ends at the lower mantle. So it begins where? At the earth's crust. So here the earth crust, just below that we can see that the upper mantle is starting. And where does it end? It ends at the lower mantle. So where the lower mantle begins, it is at that place that the upper mantle is ending. Okay, my dear students. Now the last layer what we are going to see in the mantle. Okay, in this layer it is inferred that the temperature at the depth of around 2400 to 2900 kilometers depth would be around 2200 or 2200 degrees Celsius to 2500 degrees Celsius. So you can imagine how hot it is, and where at the depth of about 2400 kilometers to 2900 kilometers deep in depth. Okay, this is what you mean by depth. Then hence there is a sudden change in the structure and density of material. So due to that we can see that there is a sudden change in the density and the structure of the material. It is estimated that the layer extends up to the depth of about 2870 kilometers, that is 2870 kilometers. Average density of this layer is about 4.5 grams per cubic centimeter, and it increases with depth. Increasing pressure is reason behind this. The density of the lower mantle is about 5.7 grams per cubic centimeters. So my dear students, we can see that the depth goes on increasing. Okay, and the density of the materials also what is there, that also keeps on changing. Okay, so we have seen again once again that mantle is divided into two, the upper mantle and the lower mantle. Then in the lower mantle we have seen, okay, so here we can see the upper mantle just below the crust, and then the lower mantle. So it extends about 660 kilometers. What is there? Then the lower mantle is hotter and denser than the upper mantle. So we can see that the lower mantle is hotter and denser. Okay, then the lower mantle is less ductile than the upper mantle. So the upper mantle is more ductile, what we can see. Again, this is extra information which is not in your textbook. Okay, my dear students. Then after having studied the crust, which is divided into continental crust and oceanic crust, and mantle, which is divided into upper mantle and lower mantle, let us now move on to the core. Okay, the core starts at around the depth of about 2900. So we can see where the lower mantle is coming. After that we can see that the core is beginning. Then the part of the earth's interior extending from the mantle to the center of the earth. So we can see the layer from the mantle to the center of the earth is called as the core. The core of the earth is thick and the thickness is about 3,471 kilometers. This layer can be divided into outer core and inner core. So my dear students, we can see that the core is divided into basically outer core and inner core, and we can see that this is the innermost and the centermost point of the earth. Okay, it is the centermost point of the earth. It lies just below the mantle. Okay, it mainly consists of iron and nickel, and the core is subdivided into inner core and outer core. Okay, my dear students, so we have finished till now with the crust, which we have divided into two parts, and today we have seen about mantle, again divided into two parts, that is the upper mantle and the lower mantle, and also given you the introduction about the core of the earth. In the next lecture, my dear students, I'll be talking about the remaining two subdivided parts of the core, that is the inner core and the outer core. Today I'll be sending you the notes also, so that you can write the notes in your notebook and start studying for the third practice test, which is going to start in the next week, not the coming week but after that week. Okay, so my dear students, start studying and take the exam seriously. Stay home, stay safe, take care of yourself and your families. God bless you all.